So my guest is Member of Parliament for Abura-Asebu-Kwamankese, a place I've never been to in the Central Region. He is Minister of State in charge of Government Communication. He speaks for the President. Felix Kwakye Ofosu, you're welcome.
Oh, thank you, Umaru.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm fine. You should visit AAK sometime. We'll be more than happy to receive you.
Let me go and see the place. Is it a rural area, a forest area, a developed? How do you describe
Well, it has everything in there.
Is it urbanized? Or?
There are rural areas, there are urban areas, and then there are urban areas. There's also a vast fishing community, perhaps the largest fishing community in Ghana.
Oh, okay. So you're on the coast?
Yeah, we are both on the coast and in the hinterland as well.
Do you have a river as well?
No, we do not. We do not have a river. But so we have a coastline,
so
a vast coastline.
So if I'm going to Takoradi, is your constituency after Cape Coast or before Cape Coast?
So it's before Cape Coast. It's after Infantiman. So you come to Yamransa. Yamransa is in Infantiman. Okay. If you turn right, about 4 or 5 kilometers from that junction, Yamransa Junction, you enter Asebu, which is part of the Abura-Asebu-Kwamankese constituency.
Okay.
And then if you got to Yamransa and went ahead towards Cape Coast, about a kilometer from Yamransa Junction, if you turn left, you go into Mori, which is in AAK.
So
if you don't turn...
So Mori, I know the Mori Junction. So
yes, Mori Junction. So when you turn left, you go into AAK. And then from that part up until where the bridge in front of the Agri Memorial Zion SHS is, it's all part of AAK. So Agri Memorial actually is in AAK.
I always assumed that your constituency was deep in the middle between Ashanti region and Central,
no,
towards the Ashanti region.
No, it is
side.
not. It is not, yes.
So what are the major towns in your... Mori is your biggest?
No, Mori is not... Mori is a fishing community, but it is not the biggest. It is the most densely populated.
Okay.
Has anything between 40 to 50,000 residents.
Okay.
Other big towns are Abakrampa, where I come from.
Okay.
There's Asebu itself. The district capital is Abura-Asebu-Kwamankese. So naturally, that would be the most urban area there is. There is Ayeldo, there's Brafoyal, and many other communities. There's Nyamedom, there's Asumje, and all those communities. There are 265 communities.
So your constituency is named after 4 towns?
Three traditional areas? 3 traditional areas. So there's Abura, where I come from.
So there are people
largest.
of Abura?
Yes, Abura, where I come from.
Is it like a Fanti?
Oh yes, it's Fanti.
Okay, so but Abura is like a group under the Fanti ethnic group?
Yes, absolutely. So it's a traditional area. So it's a traditional grouping.
Okay.
Abura, that's where I come from. There's Asebu, which is perhaps the most popular.
Okay.
Because of Asebu Amenfi. That's where Asebu Amenfi lived many years ago. And then there's Kwamankese, which is the third. So the 3 traditional areas combined to form Abura-Asebu-Kwamankese.
So what do they do apart from the fishing? You have agriculture?
Yes, agriculture is a mainstay of a majority of the residents in the constituency.
Do you have
gold? It's agrarian. Do we have
gold?
Well, not yet. There have been rumors of the presence of gold, but we do not have concrete evidence on the basis of prospecting that.
So there's no mining happening in your place?
None whatsoever.
Oh, poor you.
Some quarrying takes place. Well, there's a quarry deposit there, and there's a company that what do you call it? Extracts these stones. Yeah.
My colleague Francisca Kakra-Forsen on the City Breakfast Show is from your constituency.
From
your town, actually.
Abakrampa?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
From there. She was actually there this weekend.
Oh, I see. That's interesting.
And she complained about the road from
the road
all the way to...
The road is pretty bad, but thankfully, this year, we expect that at least 2 or 3 roads will be constructed. First of all, the district capital, Abura-Asebu-Kwamankese, will see an improvement on their roads beginning in the latter part of this year. There's a 6-kilometer road that runs through the district capital that will be constructed. From Asebu Junction to Abakrampa itself, that one which is about 4.5 kilometers, that will be constructed. There's a road that the MPP government awarded on contract, but it didn't get anywhere. That's also about 5.5 kilometers. That's Amosima to Edukrom. That one too will be constructed. And then there's a 21-kilometer road from Afrengwa Junction to Abura-Asebu-Kwamankese, the district capital, that we expect that one too will be tackled. So hopefully by late next year we should see significant improvements.
Francisca, your member of parliament has made a promise, so he said he should calm down. Everything will be under control. That's what he's saying. I'm not the one.
Well, except that she has to introduce herself properly
to her representative.
Absolutely. Yes.
Monday,
she must touch base. Yeah.
Tomorrow she'll give you a shout on air and announce all the problems of your constituency for you to hear.
But I'm fully aware of the problems. Indeed, it is one of the reasons why I stood to be elected as member of parliament.
What's a major issue in your constituency that you sought to fix when you...
First of all, it's the poor nature of infrastructure, especially roads. In fact, our roads are very, very bad, among the worst in the whole of Ghana. Not much was done under the... Indeed, if I say not much was done, I would even be embellishing it.
Nothing?
Virtually nothing was done.
Interesting.
Virtually nothing was done. And it has left...
So does it mean you don't have tarred roads?
Very little to look at. The road that runs from Yamransa through to Asen South, that is where the border ends, between Eke and Asen South. That one was constructed, I'm sure, in the 70s or so. That is about
the Yamransa Junction Road I see, when I go beyond what my eyes can see...
It goes all the way to Abura-Asebu.
Yes, I know. So it's
yes.
not a good road.
Well, I mean, it's not in very bad shape.
Okay.
But it's been there for decades.
Okay.
It could use some improvement.
So
but that is about
it's bitumen, it's not asphalt.
It's bitumen, yes.
Okay.
That's about the best road we have.
Wow.
The constituency. But it only runs through the constituency. It doesn't go into the
so inner roads
communities.
are no good.
Yes, then there's one that was started from Mankesim to Tetsi Junction. But it got to a point where they truncated it. The contractor has not been seen. We are making efforts to get him to go back onto the road. Then there was one that they attempted between Abakrampa and a town called Asomdwe. But the work done really is not that impressive. And we could do with much better routes. But that's about it. Everywhere else is untarred. Very, very rough routes.
Do you have secondary schools?
Yes, we have 5. There's Adu Memorial Zion SHS, which is the most prominent. There's Mori Senior Technical School, which was established by President Mahama. So it has one of the community day schools. Like I must say that it was an existing school.
Okay, that was...
But they were in dilapidated structures, very small. President Mahama expanded it through the community day senior high school.
Okay.
There's
so it's an E-block?
Yes, an E-block, yes.
Okay.
We are hoping to add boarding facilities to it.
Okay.
And I'm working, in fact, in the coming weeks, I should be donating some bunk beds and desks to them so that it can help students there live more comfortably. Okay. There's also the Aswansi Technical Institute, which incidentally is the oldest technical institute in Ghana.
I see.
When President Obama was president, he invested substantially. You recall the investment that we made, about $124 million into technical and vocational education. 13 technical institutes were refurbished. So Aswansi benefited from that. So it has decent facilities, which make for effective learning. But of course, they could do with more help. And I'm working around the clock to see what help we can get them. And then there is a Abraman Senior High School in the district capital, Abura-Asebu-Kwamankese. And then the one in my hometown, Abakrampa Senior High School, or Abbas for short. So there are 5 senior high schools in the country.
What about health? Do you have a district hospital?
We have a district hospital which is not in good shape.
But you don't have a polyclinic?
No. I've made representations to the health ministry to see if they can refurbish the district hospital. It's not in good shape at all.
How about CHIPS compound? Remember?
Yes, we have about 18 CHIPS compounds.
Oh, then your salary that was deducted in the last administration.
Oh yes. No,
it's helped you.
And again, I must put that on record. Indeed, when the deductions were made, 10% of our salary was deducted. We managed to build 10 CHIPS compounds.
This was 2012, 2016?
No, it was 2014, 2015. Okay. There are some who say that we went back for the money. That is false. What it is that the Auditor General went to the Public Accounts Committee. No, the Accountant General. He was only asked to deduct the money and send it to a source, the Chief of Staff at the time.
Okay.
So from there, monies were disbursed for the construction of these CHIPS compounds. Indeed, I put out a statement indicating where the CHIPS compounds were built. So please, let's put it on record here that if anybody says that we went back for the money, it is completely false.
Okay. Do you have a river in your constituency?
No, not that I know. There are a few streams here and there, but we don't have a river.
Because then if you don't have mining in your place, then it wouldn't be a big problem where I'll talk about Galamsey in your constituency, but we'll talk about it nationally. Before we
It is not something that we will permit.
Okay.
In the Abura-Asebu-Kwamankese constituency.
Well, if there's a gold, you can't do anything about it.
No, there's I won't be surprised if gold is found, but I must say that there's no scientific basis to say that.
How many paramounces do you have?
I think there are 3. So there's Abraman, there's Kwamankese, and then there's Asebu.
I see. Now the road leading to Central Region itself is a problem. The last administration said they were going to put an airport in Cape Coast. It was one way of fixing the problem. Then they also started the dualization of the road. The dualization is not going as quickly as
well, I was on the road this weekend when I visited the constituency. And I think work is progressing, except that project was placed on the Government of Ghana budget.
Oh.
So we know that
it's
money trickles into the Government of Ghana coffers. And so it reflects in the way that the road is constructed and the pace at which it is constructed. It is better to have dedicated funding. But whilst in office, every effort is being made to ensure that we find money for them to hasten the construction process. But once completed, it will really shorten the travel time. Yeah.
One of the problems minister MPs face is working for government in Accra and also going to their constituency to work. How are you able to manage the two?
You have to find a balance. So I have a strategy. So I visit the constituency every 2 weeks.
Okay.
And if you do that, you'll be able to have a handle on the situation there and be able to respond to the people's needs. So for instance, I was there 2 weeks ago. Where
so you do that weekends or weekdays? How do
so
you
weekends.
Okay.
So Friday to Sunday, sometimes Fridays to Mondays.
Okay.
So in that period, you can tour the constituency, as many communities as you can.
Okay.
Meet the people, engage them, find out their needs, and if you have the capacity, then meet some of the needs they have. So 2 weeks ago, I was there, and I helped pay the fees of 50 tertiary students.
Awesome.
Last week I was there, or this weekend I was there, and I donated some hospital equipment to a CHIPS compound in a place called Nkwantanan.
Okay.
In fact, I have a plan to equip all the 18 CHIPS compounds. The formula guiding the disbursement of the District Assembly Common Fund this year says that each district should build at least 2 CHIPS compounds. So if you consider that we have about 260 district assemblies, we are talking in excess of 500 CHIPS compounds. So 2 more will be added to make 20. But the 18 that are currently in existence are poorly equipped.
Okay.
So in the last few months, I've been equipping some of them. I've donated equipment to about 2 or 3 of them. I intend to ensure that all 18 are reached in the next 6 months or so,
okay,
so that we bring their standards to a level where they can respond to the immediate health needs of the people. We have 2 health centers. There's one in Muri. Even that too faces significant problems in terms of equipment. Indeed, whilst I was a candidate, not yet in government, I refurbished the maternity unit of the Muri Health Center to bring it to it, because I went there and I was shocked at the level of deprivation that they face, the outdated equipment and the danger that it posed to mother and child. So I refurbished it, give them new equipment. I also built a CHIPS compound in a place called Abokumano and equipped it with new modern
within these 8 months you built?
No, that was
in
before,
the past. Before you became an MP. Okay.
That's before I became an MP. Whilst I've been an MP, I'm rolling out a program to equip all the CHIPS compounds. Okay. So I've started. I've done, I think, 2 or 3 now. So in the coming weeks, I'll do.
Out of curiosity, you said 50 students to tertiary. I thought you were doing stress-free something.
No, but these are second to final year students. They are not in first year.
Okay.
There are even some who are in first year, but after government pays the fees, they still need some help because their upkeep has to be catered for. Those who are not in accommodation on campus have to find hostels.
Do you maintain an office in your constituency where you do a clinic where people come?
Absolutely. And on a given day, when I'm there, I can meet anything between 300 to 500 people.
Wow.
Yes, on a given day. You need to be there to experience it. I thought that MPs exaggerated when they spoke about the pressure that they're under. But even whilst I was candidate, it is something that I feel. You wake up every morning and there are close to 300 people in your house, all with varying needs. And you have to find a way to engage them, find out what they have to tell you, the requests they have, the needs they have, and find a way to meet them.
One of the issues that come up often is that MPs are stressed.
Absolutely.
And the stress leads to very dire consequences. You are managing government communication, you are a member of parliament, you have to be at the Jubilee House, run a ministry and all of those things, and also go to your constituency. I hope you are getting time to rest so that you don't stress.
Well, I do the best I can. Naturally,
because now you people even sit in parliament at night.
Yes. So it is something that we signed up for. It is, even being an MP alone is extremely stressful. And I must indicate that contesting and running for MP has opened my eyes to a lot of things. I used to underestimate the kind of stress that MPs come under. But I can tell you that of all the actors within the governance space, perhaps MPs are the worst off. They come under enormous pressure because they are the face of the constituencies. They are the ones that people know. And so people go to them with all manner of requests that stretch them, to their limits. And sometimes I think we've been unfair to MPs, the way that we criticize them and all that. They are going through a lot, I must tell you. Then add that to the responsibility that one has in the executive. And you find that it's a double whammy. But we signed up for it, and I find time to adjust the calendar and my schedule so that I'm able to meet all the requirements.
How is the president doing? You brought him before a horde of journalists this week, last weekend, to answer questions. How is he doing? Oh,
he's doing great. What he did was nothing new. He's been doing it his whole life. Ever since he emerged in the political arena, in governance arena, he's faced the media all his life. He started life as in governance, or in government, I beg your pardon, as a deputy minister for communication. So he was interacting frequently And then he became substantive minister. He was the face of government. He was the voice of government. So he engaged media frequently. Don't forget that he's actually one of your own. He's a paid-up member of the Ghana.
Of the GJ.
So he's your most prominent member as we speak. So he's very used to engaging journalists. Whilst he was president in his first iteration between 2013 and 2017, he did same. Every year he did it. So it's something that he's used to. Having returned to the presidency and having governed for the last 8 months, it was necessary to engage the media because so much has happened.
But they say it's a settings government and that it was uncalled for. There was no provocation for him to even do that at the end of the year or early next year. But you call media and you answer that you are doing settings. How
is that settings? Of course, I know that under the previous administration, meeting the president and questioning was a rare event, but it will not be the same in this government. Transparency is important. As I indicated when I made the opening remarks at the event last week, we have the government accountability series. The whole idea is to open up government because government runs on a daily basis and there are many things that happen that the citizens need to know. So an opportunity has been created for ministers to account for their stewardship. In other words, speak to the things that they are doing in their various ministries and sectors, which are impacting lives. And then we offer opportunity for journalists to also ask them questions because many questions may come up in the course of the week that the minister may not have opportunity to listen to and answer. So at that place, the minister then has the opportunity to address some of those issues and correct misimpressions, put out information that the public otherwise didn't know, and notify Ghanaians on what exactly is happening under them. Now, the head of government is the president himself. So ministers have done this. I think before we took a break, in light of the very tragic helicopter crash, which threw all of us into a deep state of mourning, we had about 10 ministers appearing. So we thought that it was necessary for the president himself to mount the stage and take it a notch higher. He did that, answered questions in various sectors. But again, in terms of the day-to-day management of the sectors, it's the ministries that do it. So you notice that right after the event last week, only yesterday, that is Monday, the foreign minister was here to speak to his sector and address the country on many, many issues relating to the
They said that you are doing this because there are no scandals yet. There's no corruption, so you are not afraid of the mark. There's goodwill, so you are enjoying that. By next 2 years, then you run away from the media. No accountability.
When President Hama was president between 2013 and 2017, he did this every year. Issues will come. In fact, it is precisely because issues emerge every day that government must engage. We run the country on behalf of the people of Ghana. They give us a mandate. How we use that mandate and the resources they've entrusted to us matters. Whilst doing that, we must apprise them of what is happening. We cannot shut the door in their face and operate behind closed doors and expect that we carry them along. They must know what their mandate is being used for. That is the rationale behind this. Transparency and accountability were key pillars in our manifesto.
So
and we need to live up to it.
In
fact, it is a permanent feature. It's going to be a permanent feature of our government. The accountability series and all other engagements involving ministers and government officials is something that is here to stay. We will do it for the entirety of the period that we are in office.
I beg you, just a way of proposal. I notice you do 3 ministers a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yes. Information overload is too much. Maybe give us 1 per week so we get something to munch on.
Suggestions have come in. Our view is that every day there's something happening.
Okay.
And it is important because of the environment we live in, not to leave room for misinformation. Because when you leave a vacuum, it tends to be filled. So it is better to have information out there than not to have it. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with having one minister. Okay. But if there's a lot to say, you say it anyway.
On the president's side, I'm not happy because you didn't call me.
Well, sorry about that. There was no deliberate effort to leave.
And many people were not called.
You surely are aware that we are constrained with time. There was no
so
way.
I was going to complain about that. So
there was no way that we were going to be able to call 100. There are about 100 journalists. It was not going to be possible to have everybody. Otherwise, we were going to stay there for about 6 hours.
Yeah, but
so it was not deliberate.
You did just 1 hour for questioning and made the president speak for 30 minutes.
The whole program.
Next time, don't let him speak.
The whole program, indeed, the invitations that we sent out was clear that we were going to do it for 1.5 hours. So it's going to start at 8 p.m. and then at 9:30 p.m.
Okay.
So the president made an opening statement in which he accounted for some of the things that have happened. The next 1 hour was opened up for journalists to ask questions. And within that, I think we took about 20 to 25 questions or so, which is quite significant. And the questions covered a broad range of issues. Yeah. Perhaps the most topical issues in Ghana today. Yeah. So we apologize for not being able to invite everybody. It was not deliberate or anything, but that was the best we could do within the limitations of
Another proposal, take it to the region. Maybe you can divide the country into 3 and do one in Kumasi and one in
Not a
Tamale.
problem. It's not a problem.
And
It's
say
something that we
let the president himself go and take questions from the journalists over there.
It's something that the president himself would.
Because you did a Zoom, which is great, but
Yes.
it may fail you sometimes.
No
so
problem.
it's
The
better
president,
leave it.
I'm sure the president will be more than happy.
I'll send
To the
you-
extent that there's.
I'll
time.
send you an invoice for this advice. This is Face to Face on ChannelOne Television. My guest is Felix Kwakye Ofosu. He's Minister of State in charge of Government Communications. He's Member of Parliament. When we come back, he said a lot happened over the past 8 months. We'll talk about that lot. And then the next quarter, or the final quarter of the year, what is the president and the government going to be up to? Please stay with us.
Hey, the stage is set. Ghana, are you ready? From the 23rd to 28th September, the National Theatre comes alive again with the Ghana Theatre Festival 2025 under the theme showcasing the rich diversity of Ghanaian culture through the performing arts. Kicking off in grand style on Tuesday, September 23rd is an opening ceremony. The week-long festival will feature performances from the resident companies of the National Theatre, School of Performing Arts, University of Ghana, and various senior high schools. Be part of a symposium to discuss the impact of taxation on the fortunes of the arts industry. Let us enjoy the captivating Genial People by Efo Kojo Maugbe. And oh yes, the hilarious Run for Your Wife by Image Bureau and April Communications on Saturday and Sunday respectively. There will be loads of networking opportunities, 6 days of drama, dance, music, masterclasses, and many more. Dial *714*39# to purchase tickets for selected performances or visit www.nationaltheatre.gov.gh. You can also call 050-147-6357 or 0244-830-963 for further inquiries. Ghana Theatre Festival, a celebration of heritage.
This BB9 Season 10. No filters, no scripts, no holding back. Cause it's 10 times the drama, 10 times the rivalry, 10 times the game. This is certified. No zero, no minus. Big Brother Niger Season 10 on Showmax.
You're welcome back. This is Face to Face on ChannelOne Television. The steer of state was given to President Mahama 8 months ago. What are the key things you would say as his chief spokesperson he has done to ease the lives and burdens of Ghanaians?
Well, I think that it is pretty straightforward and obvious. In the lead up to the 2024 elections, the most topical issue right at the top of the wish list of Ghanaians was the economy. I mean, the economy was in total shambles. Hardships were pervasive. The cost of living was so high, and people simply struggled to make a living. And so President Mahama committed to addressing that. And you see that when we came into power, it was the first thing that we tackled. There was a need to stabilize the economy, stabilize the currency, stop the rapid depreciation that was undergoing at the time, and bring it to a level that led to significant reductions in the cost of living. And that has happened. Indeed, the price of everyday items reduced significantly. In fact, Guta met the Parliamentary Select Committee on Economy and Development. And when they were questioned, they showed data which proved that up to 4,500 different items had seen price reductions. And these are the people who actually do the trading. So there is no dispute that prices came down. Of course, there has been talk about the need for more price reductions, which we agree with. We think that the pass-through effect should be quicker and it should be much larger than we saw. But there's no dispute that prices came down, at least fuel prices came down. They are not currently at the same level that we inherited it. Of course, in the last 2 or 3 windows, it's gone up a bit, but it is still below where we found it. Transport fares went down by about 15%, if I'm not mistaken. And basic goods and services also saw price reduction. So these are the things that I would say have mattered most, in addition to all the things that have happened.
The city that you celebrate, which is the basis for all of this, there's a view that the growth or the strength was artificial and that the fundamentals are weak, and so we are seeing the city struggle again already.
Umaru,
and that is too early for us to celebrate.
Economic debates, economic discussions, commentary on the economy is all based on fact and figures. You see, those figures are objective. They are not subject to opinion. when the finance minister presented the mid-year budget, he presented the figures, which cannot be disputed. There's not a single metric that is out of gear that you can say points to a weak foundation. The thing with the cedi is that the exchange rate is like any other commodity. It thrives on demand and supply. So you need forex or foreign exchange or foreign currency to engage in some activity, importation or some other business. If it is available, the price is cheap. If it is scarce, the price is high. If you go to the market today and a crate of tomatoes or tomatoes is available, a crate will be cheaper than when it is scarce. That is what it is. It is the duty of government to ensure, at least with the currency, the economic climate that we are in, that there is sufficient foreign exchange available for people like yourself who may want to travel or do some business. That is what that there is. So what did we do? There are traditional sources for foreign exchange, remittances, export proceeds, and what have you. In the past, these have proven inadequate to give us the sort of forex liquidity that will ensure stability or a lower exchange rate. So there was a need to take additional measures. We found that, look, Ghana exports gold in significant quantities, but not all that gold is accounted for, and that the proceeds of those exports don't get to us the way that it should. And I have often cited the experience of the late Pakwesi Emisata, His Excellency. He went to India for a conference. Then in his speech, he indicated the quantity of gold that in that year had been exported from Ghana to India. When he finished, the Indian Trade Minister, who was also present at the event, gave a speech and indicated that the quantities are larger than the Vice President quoted. Immediately, he drew attention to the fact that significant quantities of gold were leaving our shores
through unapproved routes, and that we're not getting the earnings. So there was a need to put in place a mechanism to ensure that we have a handle on this kind of export and that the proceeds come back into this country so that we can have foreign exchange to put on the market when necessary. So the Gold Board was established. Through their efforts, they've been able to mop up such that between January and now, or the last record, which is about a month ago, $6 billion had been accrued from gold exports. The same time last year, it was barely half of the figure that I'm quoting. So it means that about $3 billion or so left the shores of this country unaccounted for. That has meant that there's a lot more foreign exchange available to the central bank to be able to put on the market if need be, and also shore up our reserves. So that is what led to the stability in the currency, which is a sustainable model. Critics have said it's because you are not paying contractors and that you are being uptight, and that the moment you're losing up, things are going to go haywire.
Payment of arrears has nothing to do with the exchange rate because most of the contracts are denominated in cedis. Most of the contracts are denominated in cedis. Indeed, it is our policy now, and the President has announced it, that henceforth every contract taking place within Ghana will be denominated in cedis. So there will be no need to pay in foreign exchange. So merely paying a supplier, even $1 billion Ghana cedis, does not necessarily translate into a depreciation of the currency, except it is being suggested that then immediately the supplier who has earned that money will go and buy forex and hoard under his bed. But that is not.
The President is scheduled to cut short or commission projects in the road sector today, the big push.
That is true.
You are saying to us that if that big push comes to fruition and all the monies of the state are being used to pay these contractors to do the work they do, the city is not going to start
but
struggling.
All the money of the state will not be used to pay contractors.
A lot of it would be used.
The big push will amount to 13 billion Ghana cedis.
It's not significant enough to
The budget
shake.
was in excess of 200 billion Ghana cedis. That is a
But
small
you have
percentage.
other big ticket items.
That is
that
true.
you
But the
intend
point is that
if all of these
even
start going out,
even the claim that we are not spending is false. In fact, you heard the finance minister when he presented the mid-year budget. As of the time, in excess of 100 billion Ghana cedis had been spent through the payment of statutory funds, NHIS, GET Fund, the Common Fund, and what have you. And you see, all these payments trickle down. So when healthcare facilities render services and they go for payments at the NHIS, when you pay them, what do they do with the money? They spend it, don't they? Because they also have suppliers and other creditors who have advanced things to them on credit. When monies go to the Common Fund, so for instance, I am an MP for Abura-Asebu-Kwamankese, so I'm an ex-official member of the Legislative Assembly. So I know that this year, all things being equal, this assembly in Abura-Asebu-Kwamankese will receive up to 19 million Ghana cedis. They are going to build CHIPS compounds, they will build classroom blocks, and they will do other things. The monies that will be used will go into the hands of people who supply items. Those cement, supply cement, blocks, and what have you. The laborers that they hire, those monies will be used to pay them. So the notion that unless you have paid the contractor, you've not spent is completely false.
Okay, now you are going to spend more on the road sector.
Sure.
You have not implemented your road toll project yet. How are you going to balance that up?
Well,
because money is going and you're not
You need to
getting
construct the
revenue.
road before you can toll it. So
But
once,
existing ones?
yes, but I think that the roads minister has spoken to that. Indeed, he was at the government accountability series a couple of months ago, and he indicated that it is something that they are working on. They are going to introduce an electronic tolling system that will make it easier, more convenient, faster for people to pay road toll. So when that is ready to be rolled out, but many of the roads that will be constructed will also be tolled so that we can have some money to carry on with maintenance so they don't deteriorate as quickly as we construct them.
Okay. The past 8 months, the power problem it started, but then it appears you have dealt with it. I'm not going to ask a question on power unless you want something to say.
Yeah,
No,
but of course, again, of course, I know that you media men have a saying that if it bleeds, it leads. So good news is often not something that you want to talk about. But the point is that we told the people of Ghana what we had inherited. We inherited an energy sector that was riddled with debts. There were debts in excess of 80 billion Ghana cedis. ECG alone owed 63 billion Ghana cedis. IPPs were owed billions of dollars and what have you. So what we did initially was to ensure that we secured adequate supplies of fuel to power our thermal plant, because we were aware that the West African gas pipeline was going to shut down. The previous government didn't make any effort to leave any substantial amount of fuel to fire thermal plants. So we did that. Then one of the problems was that money was not getting into the hands of people along the value chain. So we were constantly indebted to the IPPs and other suppliers within and other stakeholders within the energy sector. So government took a decision that the cash waterfall mechanism must be implemented properly. So now, once ECG collects money, and these days they average about 1.5 billion Ghana cedis a month, that money is shared in a manner that enables everybody in the value chain to obtain something to finance their operation. So that is what has led to the stability. Also, we found that there were outdated equipment, especially transformers. And I had such problems in the I received several complaints about how transformers were blowing out and they were out of shape and were not working and all that. So the Energy Ministry has rolled out a program to replace those transformers. Indeed, I received calls in the last week or so from residents of AAK expressing satisfaction about the replacement of their transformers, which has led to some stability in electricity supply. So all these things have been done, and that is what has led to the stability. And also now, there is a regular supply of fuel. Indeed, only yesterday I found out that between the beginning of this year and now, about $1 billion has been spent buying fuel. So that is what has kept the lights on.
You're planning to toll or tax people for this. The ECG and the water company and the other utility service providers are saying that they're going to tax us so much. They've sent the proposal to PURC. What would be the government intervention in this
I think
matter?
you've been around for a long time, so you know that it is not every proposal that's accepted. It is not unusual.
But the thing is that if you don't accept the proposal, the utility service providers,
so I was
they
coming
suffer.
to that. No, what is that it is not always, in fact, it has never been the case that the utility service providers have received the exact amounts in the proposal that they present to PURC. Often they quote certain figures, but PURC looks at it and then strikes a certain balance, and then, but almost every time it is substantially reduced. What it is that as part of the IMF arrangements that the MPP entered into, and this document is I can share it with you, they agreed with the IMF as a conditionality for accessing about $300 million when the review that took place before we came to power was completed. That's around December 2024. That they were going to do periodic tariff adjustments, quarterly tariff adjustments. And then in September, they will do a major tariff adjustment. And this was agreed upon by the MPP. It is cast in stone, calcified. So it must also go on record. So when the MPP comes to lament electricity price increase, you know that they are being duplicitous and hypocritical. They are simply not telling the truth.
Okay.
They went to agree it. We are bound by it. But often when this is about to happen, the PLC engages stakeholders in consultation. So they invite the utility companies to present proposals on what they would like to be done. But they will go through it with a fine comb and ensure that customers are not worse off. So you may have seen some figures being bandied about, but I am confident that those figures will not reflect in the tariff. Yes.
Galamsey is one of the most topical issues before you went into the elections. There was a growing call for a state of emergency. The unions wanted to go on strike on President Akufo-Addo. They took a lot of negotiation to get them not to. Your party enjoyed from that anger from the public, and it would be part of the reasons you got the huge votes or the huge number of votes you got at the polls. You have come around and you appear to be pussyfooting on the issue of Galamsey. Declare state of emergency so that there will be sanity before we move back into there. And you are saying that you will not do it. The Catholic Bishops' Conference issued a statement today. They are saying that do what is right, and what is right is calling for a state of emergency, among other steps that you should take in dealing with Galamsey. Is it the case that you have seen the Galamsey problem now, and you are either benefiting from it or you are scared of it, so you are not acting?
Well, Mario, let me indicate that the Catholic Bishops' Conference and all other sections of the Ghanaian population who have commented on Galamsey are right to demand action from government. Indeed, Galamsey has been a major issue for the better part of 15 years now. And the previous government completely failed to address it. I have said it and I'll repeat it. That government was complicit in Galamsey. Their party hierarchy was involved. Indeed, Professor Frimpong Boateng, who they themselves chose to lead the fight, has a report which is damning and shows the involvement of government officials, party officials. He has gone on record to have said that Galamsey was a major source of financing for the new patriotic party. So it was little wonder that they were not interested in fighting it.
And that's why they lost the election.
Absolutely. And Ghanaians were right to throw them out in the manner that they did. The Ghanaians showed righteous indignation, and it is right that they did so. Ghanaians are right to demand action from this government. We are alive to that responsibility. Since we've been in power, we've done a number of things. So if you want to see whether the situation has improved or it has worsened, you need to look at the hard cold facts. What were the facts? When we came into power in January 2025, an assessment showed that as of that time, there were 288 forest reserves. Out of these 288 forest reserves, Galamsey threatened 44 of them. In other words, there was some Galamsey activity in 44 of them. 9 out of those 44 had been completely taken over by armed gangs who were doing as they pleased and superintending Galamsey on a massive scale. Now, what is the situation? The situation now is that all the 9 forest reserves have been repossessed by government through the Galamsey Task Force. All 9
forest reserves, where are they located?
I can give you a list.
Okay.
But it is a matter of public record. There's no dispute about it.
Okay.
They have been taken over by government again. Of course, you do know that once that is done and the task force moves, some unscrupulous elements try to go back, but we are still pursuing them. So those 9 are no longer under the control of these armed bandits who were doing Galamsey. So if you have a situation where at the beginning of the year, 9 forest reserves were under the control of armed bandits who were doing Galamsey, and now that is not the situation, that is a clear improvement. Now the larger 44 have also seen some increased activity by government to ensure that we flush out these elements. But of course, we will be the last to say that Galamsey has been overcome. It has by no means been overcome. There are still people who are doing Galamsey, and we are going after them. Now, how have we done this? Now, we formed what we call the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operation Center, NIMOS, which brings together all the stakeholders who are playing a role in fighting Galamsey. So the military, the police, other technical personnel, and what have you. So that it becomes a coordinating center, so that the fight is properly structured, because there were disparate groups, all of whom worked towards a common objective. But every now and then you hear reports about excesses and abuse. There were every reports of extortion and all that. In order to gain control of the situation and ensure that the fight is coordinated, NIMOS has been set up. So that gives you a structure that forms the foundation upon which you move against Galamsey. Number 2, what are the tangible outcomes? Apart from reclaiming the 9 forest reserves, as I speak to you, there are 1,400 people who have been arrested and are waiting trial. The Attorney General informs that he will soon set up a special court to hasten their prosecution so that it will serve as a major deterrent to people who are minded to go into it. Umaru, over 440 excavators have been seized, some of which have been destroyed. You recall that under the MP, when excavators were seized, we were told that they had been stolen and shared amongst party people. We cannot account for them, but that is not the case today. 300 shamfans, and you know what shamfans are? there are some contraptions that
They put
people
on the riverbed.
put on the river and stir the riverbed, and that's what creates the turbidity, that increases the turbidity levels and destroys the quality of the water. 300 of those equipment have been seized, many of them destroyed. And in fact, there are efforts to dechemicalize the water. In other words, put in material that would ensure that we reverse the deterioration in quality. In addition to this, 900 water pumps that these Galamseyers used have been confiscated. In fact, only last week, the Agric Minister shared this for farmers to use to irrigate their lands, water their lands. So this has been done. We also noticed, upon assumption of power, that there was an unusual influx of excavators. The records show that we now have about 200 excavators imported into Ghana every day. So we said no, this must be looked into. Excavators in themselves are not designed to be used for illegal mining. They are construction equipment. So there are legitimate construction firms that import these for their business. There are also legitimate companies involved in lawful mining who use this equipment. But there are unscrupulous people who import them and use it for this nefarious Galamsey activity. So what did government do? We said, no, we are now going to impound it and find out whether indeed these excavators are being imported for legitimate purposes. So indeed, in the last 8 months or so, 2 months, just 2 months, we impounded 1,300 excavators. It took up a large tract of space at the ports. So on 22nd August, GPHA put out a notification that they were going to move these excavators to decongest the port so that containers can have space to be packed. Some of your colleagues in the media reported this as though at midnight, Galamseyers were being allowed to clear these excavators to go and engage in Galamsey. And that's what has added to this latest round of public brouhaha. But it was false reportage.
There you go.
GPHA put out clear notification. In fact, I invite your crew to go to Burma camp. I can facilitate that. You will see the excavators, some of which are parked there, some of which are parked at Michelle camp and other places, under military guard, so that nobody can dare go there and move it without express authorization from the appropriate quarters. Now, 1,300 of them have been impounded. As I speak to you, every excavator that is imported and cleared legitimately is tracked. A tracking device is installed so that we can follow the movement of that excavator. There's something they call geofencing, which means that the tracker is programmed such that if you move the excavator beyond the area you say you are going to use it for construction or lawful mining purposes, you will be identified and the excavator can be disabled. So all these are being done in order to ensure that we make substantial progress in the fight against Galamsey. Let me make it clear that President Mahama is committed, absolutely committed, to weeding out Galamsey. Also, let me indicate that we made specific commitments in the fight against Galamsey. We spoke about banning new mining activity in forest reserves. And indeed, this is being implemented. As I speak to you, since we came to power, no lease has been granted to anybody to mine, whether lawful or unlawful, in a forest reserve.
So all these things you said sound great. The only question is, why are you not imposing a state of emergency?
Again, you see, President Mahama answered that.
Yes.
President Mahama answered that at the media encounter.
The answer was not satisfactory, and that's why we are seeing a lot of the questions.
Well, I'm not sure that it was not satisfactory. You see, one of the things that needs to happen is that the conversation has to be such that we listen to all the issues that are raised. First of all, a state of emergency is a very severe measure. It comes with curbs in freedoms.
But you knew about this in opposition.
Yeah, but we have never called for a state of emergency. We never did. Let me correct it. We didn't say that we will impose a state of emergency. At the time that the state of emergency discussion came up in opposition, 9 forest reserves were under the control of bandits. That is no longer the situation. President Mahama says that the conventional methods we are using, if it is ramped up, can achieve the objective. But he is prepared anytime it becomes necessary to impose a state of emergency to do so. And I'm indicating that the state of emergency comes with certain measures.
So the conditions are not ripe for that now?
He does not believe now that the conditions are ripe yet. But he believes certainly that the actions we are taking must be increased, they must be intensified. In fact, let me tell you that now, all the 44 areas that are threatened by Galamsey, there's going to be permanent military presence. In the past, they go and flash out the characters engaged in Galamsey and then they leave. But now they will have permanent military presence. All riverine areas, in other words, all the rivers that we have will have permanent military presence. In addition to this, we have the Blue Water Guards. The idea is to ensure that up to 2,000 of them are trained by the close of year. Now, we have close to 1,000 now. Their role is to complement the efforts of the security agencies to monitor the rivers and immediately alert NIMOS and other entities involved about the presence of these people so that action can be taken. It is through their agility and alertness that the 300 champagnes have been seized and destroyed. So a lot is happening. We take on board the criticism, we take on board the demand for improved action, we take on board the calls for intensification. We will do just that. But it must also be placed on record that a lot has been done since President Mahama came to power, which was not done under the Akufo-Addo administration.
This is Face to Face on ChannelOne TV. When we come back, the next 3 months or the last quarter of the government, what should we be expecting? And also, press freedom. Ghana, for Monsorio, you know that we have seen a lot of NPP persons arrested, and they say that there's tyranny. In fact, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia himself has said that there's intimidation of their party folks. We'll be hearing from the government officially on this. Please stay.
Hey, the stage is set. Ghana, are you ready? From the 23rd to 28th September, the National Theatre comes alive again with the Ghana Theatre Festival 2025 under the theme showcasing the rich diversity of Ghanaian culture through the performing arts. Kicking off in grand style on Tuesday, September 23rd is an opening ceremony. The week-long festival will feature performances from the resident companies of the National Theatre, School of Performing Arts, University of Ghana, and various senior high schools. Be part of a symposium to discuss the impact of taxation on the fortunes of the arts industry. Let us enjoy the captivating Ginyard People by Efo Kojo Maugbe. And oh yes, the hilarious Run for Your Wife by Image Bureau and April Communications on Saturday and Sunday respectively. There will be loads of networking opportunities, 6 days of drama, dance, music, master classes, and many more. Dial *714*39# to purchase tickets for selected performances or visit www.nationaltheatre.gov.gh. You can also call 050-147-6357 or 0244-830-963 for further inquiries. Ghana Theatre Festival, a celebration of heritage.
Yeah, welcome back. This Face to Face on ChannelOne TV. My guest is the Minister in charge of Government Communication. The opposition party says the government is intimidating members. In fact, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the former vice president, spoke and they said that what you're doing is not right. In fact, I think the youth wing is even planning a demonstration. You've caused the arrest of their key leaders, their Ashanti regional chairman, now their Bono regional chairman. What is the end game?
Of course, you know that these claims must be dismissed. They are unfounded, have no basis. And exactly what is the MPP complaining about really? When they were in power, between 2017 and 2025, did they not put people before court to prosecute them? So why would they have a problem if...
But they took them to court. You locked them up in BNI.
Before they took them to court, did they not arrest people? They arrested people. Indeed, I've had cause to grant an interview to a station in which I recounted all the things that the NPP did to members of the NDC. But that is even not the point. That is even beside the point. The point is that when we were campaigning, we promised to undertake what we call Operation Recover All Routes. Indeed, it was by far one of the most popular campaign promises. The people of Ghana expect accountability. In the same way they expect accountability from us, they expect accountability from past government officials. So there's no problem with taking past government officials through a process of accountability. As I speak to you, there are over 200 cases being investigated under oral. About 80 people have been invited, some have been arrested, some have been questioned, some have been charged. There are 7 people standing trial as we speak. We expect that in the next few weeks, another 7 or so will be taken to court. And as and when dockets become ready, people will be taken to court. This does not fly in the face of any known lawful process to warrant the claim that the NPP is making. But this is a duplicitous organization that thrives on falsehood and propaganda, so they can say these things. But right-thinking members of society know that nothing untoward has happened beyond exacting accountability, as we promised when we were campaigning. There's really no issue, in my view. Again, I don't see how Dr. Bawumia can say that anybody has been. How about amounts to intimidation? He is somebody who wants to become president, and yet he is consulting with people who have threatened to kill the president and behead his wife. How can anybody who wants to be president be seen in the company of such people. Some people sit on TikTok, a social media app, engage in conversation in which they are heard saying that they are planning to kill the president, mistreat him, and behead his wife. Law enforcement officials go after such people, take them through due process, take them to court. People are granted bail. And the first thing we see is that people go and are welcomed with open arms by Dr. Bawumia. What does it say about him? So he endorses this kind of conduct. He wants the president of Ghana killed and his wife beheaded. So he supports that kind of action. You understand the point I'm making?
The Abura DC parts.
Well, again,
too harsh. You're using a sledgehammer to.
Abura is not anybody's favorite. I don't think he will interview Abura on this program ever, because you know that he won't find you value beyond outrageous.
Why are you abusing the man?
No, I'm not. But I'm telling you, look, Umaru,
I dissociate myself. If he sues you, I will not be a party to it.
Umaru, for what? Apart from unguarded commentary, blatant falsehood, outrageous claims, what is his value? Nothing. But his rights must be protected like everybody else. He has a right to say things that we don't like. But of course, if you cross a certain threshold that the security agencies believe amount to a crime, they can take action, but that action must be lawful. That is why I personally disagreed with the ruling of the learned circuit court judge, who said that all men are not equal before the law. That cannot be the case. Indeed, the very symbol of justice, which shows the blindfolded woman holding a pair of scales, speaks to balance. The president is equal to the cleaner or the coconut seller as far as the law is concerned. So when you go to court, the same processes must be undertaken. So I disagree with that. If the judge had said and left it at that perhaps Abura was a flight risk and so he thought that he should be kept in custody, that's another matter. We can debate it. But I don't agree that he should not receive the same treatment as anybody else. That I disagree with. But that's for the fact that he says things that are outrageous, don't make sense, intended to deceive the public and cause disaffection for people. It is what he is known for. But if he says things that the police believe violate Ghanaian law, there's no problem. Indeed, when the NPP was in power, journalists were arrested and put before court. I recall that there was an instance where Bobi Ansa and one other person commented on some piece of land that allegedly belonged to the first lady and the second lady. They were arrested for saying that and put before court. How can the MPP, how can Dr. Bawumia, whose wife was the subject of some commentary that led to the arrest of journalists who were put on trial, turn around and say that people are being intimidated when the same approach is used? Okay. So he's not being truthful. He's not being principled. He's being duplicitous like any other MPP person. And again, this a habit of consulting with people who do that does not reflect well on him. I don't think that he will please sound, well-thinking people with that kind of behavior. He has to distance himself from people with that kind of mentality who speak in the manner that the people did.
Before we go, how is the crystal ball looking for the next quarter or the final quarter of the year? Are there some major interventions we should be expecting?
Oh, of course. Today, the president is launching the Big Push program in Ho. He will be on the Dodowa Dowenya Road, which I'm sure is of interest to you because you frequent it. That's when you are going to your favorite Isutare. Yeah, the contractor that's the place that we absolutely.
The contract is not there, so please.
No, in fact, he will be there.
And I'm happy he's doing the Dodowa affair.
Absolutely. So the president will cut short for you today. He will also be in Ho there. Denu to go to Denu Aflao.
My sister is
so I'm sure it is music to your ears. All of it is included. Now let me say that this shortcutting represents the beginning of the big push in the whole of the Greater Accra and the Volta region. Okay. So all the other roads will be looked at. Even roads that have stalled have been captured under big push. Because like I indicated, many of them don't have dedicated lines of funding. But government has created space within the budget for it. So we expect that once the program starts, it will begin to open up the country, to be extended to other parts that require such projects. We expect that the finance minister will conclude preparations on the budget, and in November will present it, which will then indicate what will happen in the next financial year. But between now and the end of the year, all the programs that we outlined will still continue to
People
be
want jobs.
Absolutely. Indeed, we've launched a number of job creation initiatives. The Ejumapa program, beg your pardon, is designed to train the next cadre of employers, people who own their own business and are able to employ 2 or 3 people. 10,000 people are supposed to benefit from that. The National Apprenticeship Program is also being rolled out. I know because there are people in AAK who have reached me that indeed they have been selected. That one too is designed to train about 100,000 artisans in various skills by 100,000 people every year. We expect that about 500,000 people would have been trained by the end of the 4 years. And then in short order, recruitments will start into the various security agents. So those who are also interested in that will also have opportunity to gain employment in that regard and render critical service to the people. So a lot is happening. And also, as the economy stabilizes and expands, the private sector is able to invest, which then creates space for more employment to be had. So job creation is a major concern for President Mahama, and he has the solutions to ensure that we address it substantially.
We'll come back at the end of the year for another accountability series. Thank you so much for
the pleasure is all mine.
That's Felix Kwakye Ofosu, Member of Parliament, Minister of State in charge of Government Communication. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu. This has been Face to Face on ChannelOne TV.